Video is about absolute value. What is absolute value? The definition of absolute value is the absolute value of a number is the distance between the number and zero on a number line. So, what do we know about distance? When we think of our odometer in the car, notice that however far the car travels, it keeps adding to your mileage, which means that it's always positive. So, your absolute value is always positive. So if something says the absolute value of 3, what does that mean? What it means is we are 3 steps from 0. 1, 2, 3. What if it's -5? Then we're going to be 5 steps from 0. And even though it's to the left in the negative direction, it is a positive 5 that you have actually walked 5 steps. Absolute value equations look like this. If the absolute value of x equals 3, what do we know about x? Remember, absolute value is a distance. So x has a distance of 3 from 0. If x is 3 steps from 0 on the number line, what could the value x be? Notice that it moves 3 positions to 3. So x could be equal to 3, or if you go to the left, x also could be equal to -3 because, again, physically it's 3 steps from 0. So thus the solution set for x equals 3 means that x is equal to +3 or -3. If a plus b, the absolute value of a plus b equals 8, what do you know about a plus 1? A plus 1 is 8 steps from 0. If a plus 1 is 8 steps from 0, what could the value of a plus 1 be? So we have a plus 1 equals plus or minus 8. Notice we always take the number that's on the right and take the positive and negative values of it and set it up as two equations. So we have a plus 1 equals 8, or we have a plus 1 equals -8. We're going to solve these two equations by subtracting 1 from each side. So if I take the first equation, a plus 1 equals 8, and subtract 1 from it, then a is equal to 7. If I take a plus 1 equals -8, subtract 1 from either side, then I get -8 minus 1 gives me a -9. Okay, we always need to check our solutions. So if we put in 7 for a and -9 for a, notice on the left side we get 7 plus 1 is 8, so 8 is equal to 8. On the other right-hand side, we have -9 plus 1, which gives us -8 is equal to 8. But remember, it's in the absolute value sign, so 8 is equal to 8. So our solution for a plus 1 equals 8, then our a is equal to 7 or -9. Let's look at another problem. If the absolute value of g minus 3 equals 10, what do we know about g minus 3? G minus 3 is 10 steps from 0. What could the value of g minus 3 be? G minus 3 equals plus or minus 10. So we again set this up as two equations. G minus 3 equals 10, or G minus 3 equals -10. To solve these two equations, we just have to add 3 to each side. So we have G minus 3 equals 10. Add 3 to both sides, we get G equals 13. If I add 3 to -10, then G is equal to -7. We're going to check our solutions. We put 13 in, minus 3 is 10, and the absolute value of 10 is 10 equals 10. -7 minus 3 gives us a -10 in the absolute value sign, which turns to a +10, which equals 10. So the solutions for this is G is equal to 13 and -7. If the absolute value of 5n equals -3, what do we know about 5n? 5n is -3 steps from 0. What can the value of 5n be? Wait, can you be -3 steps from 0? Can distance ever be negative? No. Thus, this problem has no solutions, and we can write the solution as the null set or the empty set. Also, no solution. All right. So for absolute values, what did you notice is the difference about absolute value equations when compared to other equations you have solved? There are two equations to solve. You can have a null set or an empty set or no solution if the absolute value is equal to a negative number. Okay. What is new or different about the following equations? So we have 2, absolute value of x plus 6 equals 18. It's one equation. And then we have the absolute value of 4s minus 8 minus 7 equals 3. Can you find the needed distance? No, we have extra values in the problems. So what can we do to get our absolute values alone? We can use addition, subtraction, multiplication, division to get any of the absolute value expressions alone on one side. Note, you never change what is between the absolute value bars. Think of them as an x, and that these are multi-step equations, and we're just going to solve for the x. Okay, let's take a look at the first one. 2 times the absolute value of x plus 6 equals 18. We're going to divide both sides of the equation by 2. Thus, it will give us x plus 6 equals 9. Now, we can ask the question, x plus 6 is 9 steps from 0. So this means that we can set our x plus 6 equal to 9 or x plus 6 equals to negative 9. What are we going to do next? That's right. We're going to subtract 6 from each side. So if we subtract 6 from 9, we get 3. And if we subtract 6 from negative 9, we get negative 15. Let's check our solutions. So 2, absolute value of 3 plus 6 equals 18. So that means 2 times the absolute value of 9, which means 18 is equal to 18. 2, absolute value of negative 15 plus 6 equals 18. So 2 times the negative 9, which the negative 9 turns to a positive 9 coming out of the absolute value. So 2 times 9 is 18, and 18 equals 18. So our solutions are 3 and negative 15. Let's take a look at this next one. What is going to be our first step? That's right. We're going to add 7 to both sides of the equation. So now we really get the absolute value of 4s minus 8 equals 10. So now we can ask our question, distance of 4s minus 8 is 10 steps from 0. So we can set this up as two equations. 4s minus 8 equals 10, or 4s minus 8 equals negative 10. Now we can solve. We're first going to add 8 to both sides. So 4s equals 18, or 4s equals negative 2, because the negative 8 would turn to positive 8. Now, what are we going to do? That's right, we are going to divide by 4. So 18 divided by 4 reduces to 9 over 2, and negative 2 divided by 4 reduces to negative 1/2. We'll check our solutions by putting them back in. If we have 4 times 9 halves minus 8 minus 7 equals 3, we add 7 to both sides. 4 times 9 halves gives 18 minus 8, which equals 10. 18 minus 8 is 10, so 10 equals 10. If I have 4 times negative 1/2 minus 8 minus 7 equals 3, I add 7 to both sides. So I get 4 times negative 1/2 minus 8 equals 10. 4 times negative 1/2 gives me a negative 2 minus 8 equals 10. So 10 is equal to 10. So those worked out very well. Okay, let's take a look at this last one. We have 3d minus 9 plus 6 equals 0. What are we going to do first? Yes, we're going to subtract 6 from both sides of the equation. Notice, can we take 3D minus 9 is negative 6 steps from 0? That's right. This is a empty set or a null set. There is no solution because the answer, negative 6, cannot be solved with absolute value equations, right? You can walk 6 steps forward or you can walk 6 steps backwards, but you cannot walk negative 6 steps. Distance is always positive and is separate from the direction you are walking. But if we did try to keep solving this, let's say we set it up and we said that 3D minus 9 equals negative 6 or 3D minus 9 equals positive 6. And we add 9 to both sides. So we get 3D equals 3 or 3D equals 15. Then we divide by 3. So we get D equals 1 or D equals 5. Notice that when we check this, though, we wind up with positive 6 is equal to negative 6, which is not correct. So you would still get no solution if you did not see that you had a negative 6 from the beginning. Okay, let's take a look at our absolute value recap. The absolute value of a number represents the distance a number expressed is from 0 on the number line. You never change the AV expression inside the bars. You can only determine the distance when AV expression is isolated. You have to move the other terms to the other side, just like in multi-step equations when you're solving for your variable. Once the AV is isolated, you can use the distance to write the two equations and solve. The distance is always the same expression, just the positive and negative value of it.